Hi, Donna Siriani here, Leadership Success Coach and founder of Success Compass Academy. And today I want to share a couple of tips with you on creating a vision for yourself, for your life, your career. And I want to share with you how you can use that to actually accelerate your success and how this will help you as a leader. And the reason why I'm thinking about it today is that this past week I had a fantastic interview with Dave Melville, the CEO of the Bowden Group. And for years, he's been recruiting leaders for his clients. And the industries that he serves are technology, financial services, and healthcare. So it was dying to know from Dave's experience, what are some of the most sought after skills that firms are looking for with their leaders? And one of the things he shared with me, and I'll share you details in a minute about how you can listen to the interview, was that they want leaders who can articulate the vision for their team or the organization. So I got to thinking, well, I work with leaders on this all the time, whether it's private one-on-one coaching or it's part of the Acclimate to Accelerate program. And sometimes I'm working with an organization to help them on their vision. And there's some crossover. So if you know that you would like some practice in getting better at this for yourself and your team or your organization, here's a great way to strengthen your muscles. So tip number one, whether it's your computer or, a pad of paper, it doesn't matter. Write out what would you like your life or career to look like 10 years from now. I encourage you to whatever pops into your mind, write it down, right? Think big. 10 years from now, what are you hoping happens? And as you write it as if it's already happened. Write it in the present tense. That's called backwards visioning, right? There's a term for that. And you could do this with the organization as well. But for today, we're talking about you. Now, when you're doing it, and you write it in the present tense, you're saying, I'm, the CEO of my own company. I'm on the board of directors. I'm coaching people on their leadership skills, whatever it is that you really know is in your heart, that you're passionate about, that you hope comes to fruition. Put that in your vision statement. Okay. The second tip is think about what you want, not how you're going to make it happen. Think big, stretch, be ambitious, be aspirational. And do not think at all as you're writing this about what are all the steps you're going to have to take to make it happen. Because if you do that, you may actually dampen your enthusiasm for the vision, and you may actually not put pen to paper in as and stretch yourself as much as you could. So let me give you an example of where I became a huge proponent of writing a vision statement, having one for myself as well as my team. So back, maybe almost 15, maybe longer, 15 years ago. So it was after Y2K, I took a sabbatical. I had planned to take 2 years off and travel, and it was the highlight of my life. I lived in France and was snowboarding in the mountains, and it was just fabulous. But I thought, being in technology, that it was going to be pretty easy to get a job when I got back, but it wasn't. It was after 9/11, and so there I sat, and I was at my in-laws' kitchen table, and I was going through some soul searching about what I wanted to do next, and I wrote a vision statement. And it was a couple of pages, and I read a book, and it was encouraging me to, just what I'm telling you today, think big. So I did. I thought, well, I want to, I wrote down the salary I want to make. I want to be a senior leader in a technology firm. I want to be living in another country. I want to live outside the US, have the company pay for me to do international travel. And I'd like to have a house in Florida because real estate is much less in Florida. So I could afford, compared to the Boston area, I could afford to have a house sitting there waiting for me when I get back from my travels and living internationally. And last but not least, I wanted to someday go out on my own and as a consultant have my own business. Now, I will tell you, at the time, living out of a suitcase. I couldn't even get a job interview because it was very, very difficult. We were in a recession, and it was hard to even get my foot in the door. And it was, quite frankly, it was depressing. But nevertheless, I created this ambitious vision statement for myself. And I'm happy to say that after, within the 10-year period, within 10 years, I had accomplished almost everything on the vision statement, except I'm still not fluent in French. That I got the rest of my life to work on that one. But if I had stopped, you could have said, Donna, you can't even get an interview. How do you think that you're going to live in another country, travel internationally, buy a house in Florida? What are you, crazy? But that's my point. You need to really get clear on what you most want, and don't get hung up on how you're going to make it happen. Okay, so that was tip number 2. Tip number 3 is review your vision on a regular basis. I like to do it on Sunday mornings. Pick a time. It could be once a week, once a month, but review it regularly and ask yourself the question, what step could I take today that would move me closer to my vision? What are the steps I could take? It could be one small step. It could be a 90-day goal. Over the next quarter, there's something that you're going to pursue. It could be something you need to learn, a new skill that you need to acquire. But anyway, so those are the 3 tips. Now, this is a muscle you're going to practice. It's you being able to imagine and create a vision and be strategic. You can use the same backwards visioning technique with your team. Where do we want to be in 3 years? If we were to look around our environment, do we want to be seen as the leaders in our industry? Do we want our product to be number 1? Do we want our clients to give us off the charts satisfaction scores? Do we want to be, in hot demand that, we're able to recruit key talent? We got a best place to work award, whatever it is. Okay. So you can use the same technique with your team. Now, I mentioned the interview with Dave Melville. So if you're interested in listening to the interview, I encourage you to go to iTunes and look for the podcast, thesuccesstalkshow.com. And it's episode number 3, and it's just filled with pearls of wisdom. So I really encourage you to listen to the interview and to get started with your own visioning skills and sharpen your abilities to think big. So good luck.